two microphones sent over. They're Blue Yeti. It's a very interesting name for a microphone, and we're going to take a look at it in the video, so do stick around. Taking a quick look at the box, we can see that it's not exactly the conventional design with plenty of Yetis on the side. On the back you do have a bit of an explanation as to what all the dials, knobs and switches do, so that is quite nice, but overall it's a pretty simple affair. Inside the box you get the microphone and a mini USB cable and a small manual, and that's about it. Setting on the microphone is about as simple as getting it out of the box. It really is. You just plug in the mini USB cable provided and then plug it into a PC. That's pretty much it. It's a softwareless install. You literally just plug it in and it works. Doesn't need any USB power supplies or anything else. It's really quite fantastic. Because it has a headphone jack on the bottom, you can not only monitor your own audio that's coming from the microphone, but you can also have your system pass all of the desktop audio through to the microphone as well, so that you can have your desktop audio, you know, your gameplay or whatever else, coming through your microphone and then into your headset, while also hearing yourself. You can also adjust this volume as well, so if you want to adjust your headphone volume for whatever reason, whether that's if you just don't want to hear yourself as much, or you want to be able to hear surroundings, or for whatever other reason, you can do that just fine. On the back of the microphone you have two main dials. The top one is the gain control, and this is very important to manage, as this will mean you're either clipping your audio or it's too quiet or whatever. It basically allows you to change the volume output of the microphone, so that is quite nice. And the second dial is the pickup pattern, so you have cardioid, bidirectional, omnidirectional and stereo. These are different modes that I'm going to show you in just a second, and I'm going to fairly clearly define which segments and which options I'm using, so let's do that. So far in this video you've heard me mostly talking in the cardioid pattern, so this is where it blocks out all the sound from behind and tries to pick up as much sound from this sort of half of the pickup pattern as possible. This pickup pattern should be the bidirectional one, which is where you have effectively two chambers of sound, where it will pick up sound on this side and sound on this side. Now hopefully that worked, and hopefully it sounds reasonable and somewhat stereo effect, and this is quite a good idea if you're doing some sort of tabletop interview. For example, you can have the interviewer on this side and then interviewee on that side, and be able to pick up the conversation in theory a very good way. This pickup pattern is the omnidirectional one, which is basically the idea of being able to pick up everything in the room, so you should be able to hear all around. Now this is potentially something that you wouldn't want to do unless you're in a sort of tabletop discussion environment, perhaps, where you have multiple people across a table that you all want to use just one mic to, pick up all of your voices for. This might be okay for that sort of thing, but for general use, because it picks up noise in all directions, especially if you do sort of YouTube recording at home, for example, where I have a road right over there, this might not be the best, as it will pick up the noise from over there as well as the noise that you actually want to pick up. And finally, this one is the stereo mode. Now this one is good if you're recording, vocals and instruments all at the same time, that sort of thing, as it picks up all the sound from both sides and from in front, although it is, I think, majority from the sides as opposed to from the front, so that is something to be aware that you probably don't want it in this mode if you're doing it in this sort of style where you're just talking to the microphone. You're probably going to want cardioid or one of the other modes for that. The final thing I want to touch on here is actually the mute button. Now this only has one red LED inside of it, which means that when it's glowing red full time, that means that it's actually active and not muted. When it is muted, it will flash red to kind of try and get your attention to make sure that you know that it's muted. Although this is a little bit misleading, because generally when you see a mute button with a red LED in it, that immediately makes me think, hey, that's muted, so that is something you will have to get used to. Unfortunately, there just isn't any other power status LEDs on this, so that red LED kind of shows you the activity status, and as I said, it flashes when it is muted. If I haven't made it clear enough, I've been using the Blue Yeti for all of the audio in this video, so it gives you an idea of what it all sounds like. Now for me, this is quite a nice quality. It's certainly a pretty nice price point for the quality you get, especially if you're moving into the sort of full-time or, regular YouTube uploading. That kind of thing is probably quite a good thing, especially if you're a streamer or that sort of thing. This one is pretty nice, and the fact that it is USB powered only, you don't need any hubs, you don't need any phantom power supplies, anything like that. It's actually a really nice and very easy to set up thing, especially considering that it works with anything. As far as I'm aware, it works with both Windows, Mac and Linux, and anything in between, so that is actually really nice. It's a very simple setup process. I think the audio quality is quite cool, and the fact that you can have the audio passed back through into your headphones is also a really nice option. When it comes to scoring, I'm going to go with a 4 for 5 money. I'm going to go with a 4.5 for performance, that's a real tongue twister, and I think for functionality it has to be a 5 here. In terms of styling, it's very stylish, it's actually very well built as well, and I like the stand, the ability to move it around a little bit to adjust it to your needs. That's also really cool, so I'm going to go with a 5 there. And I think in terms of TechteamGB score, it's going to be a 4.5. I think it has to be a God Award. It's a fantastic microphone, and especially if you're moving into the sort of professional YouTuber scene, this is quite a nice microphone, especially if you are in the sort of space where you can sit at a desk and record audio, you know, streamers and that sort of stuff. This is a very nice option. So I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative. If you did, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share the video with anyone you think is an upcoming streamer or anything like that needs an audio upgrade. And of course, feel free to check out the links in the description down below for where to pick one of these up. Otherwise, if you want to support me, it'd be awesome if you could use the affiliate links in the description down below. That'd be really helpful in just supporting the channel, supporting the videos, and keeping reviews like this coming. And otherwise, that's pretty much it. Feel free to check me out on Facebook and Twitter as well, at TechteamGB on both. I'll leave some other videos over here for you, and feel free to check out the Antline mod mic. That's a very interesting style of microphone if you want something that is a little bit more gamer focused than more sort of professional focused, so feel free to check that one out. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, as I said, feel free to like and leave a comment as well. Let me know if this would be interesting for you too. Otherwise, thank you for watching. As I said, I'll leave the subscribe button over here too, and we'll see you all in the next video.